Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat?
Mickey Loomis today, I met with the media to kind of kick off training camp, and he talked about the character of Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah, I just think, he's one of those guys that just commands respect by his actions and his deeds. He's got great message, he's very thoughtful, intelligent, super smart player, about all the right things, and his experiences in life, and he's just fantastic.
That's one of the things that makes Tyrann so easy to root for, is how open and honest he's been about everything throughout his journey that we've all seen play out in the public eye. And I mean, and he's talked about how much that impacted his journey as well and led to some of the decisions. And but I mean, said it at the end of last segment, he's just, as much as you enjoyed tuning in to watch Tyrann Mathieu play football, I enjoyed rooting for him just even more, because he made it so easy. Would love to take plenty of your reaction as well. Get into the Bayou Ford YouTube chat. Give us your reaction on Tyrann Mathieu, calling it a career, whether it's an LSU memory, whether it's New Orleans Saints, whatever it may be, a personal interaction you had with Tyrann. Again, Bayou Ford YouTube chat. You can tweet me as well at Musso Matthew, or X, whatever. We can get to that throughout plenty of the show. Right now, though, let's talk about what is next for the New Orleans Saints at safety, because while we can celebrate Tyrann Mathieu for the career that he had and him being able to move on, and that's all well-deserved, it does leave a hole for the New Orleans Saints right at the doorstep of training camp, and that is safety. It's not a spot where the Saints were particularly deep to begin with, but now you're even thinner, because that's a 12-year vet who had amassed 220 tackles for you in 3 seasons and was all over the field forcing turnovers as well. Like, that's a hole. Justin Reed, provided he stays healthy, is going to slide in, no problem, starting safety. He's got one of those spots. But what do you do next? And Mickey Loomis was asked at his media availability here on Tuesday about what they do at safety. Will they go out and sign a guy? And Mickey Loomis, in no uncertain terms, said yes. I mean, he kind of did it in his own way. Where he's like, yeah, we'll see what's out there. Okay, Mick, of course you will. You're totally going to go out there and sign a free agent safety, because the options that you have aren't maybe the best. You're looking, what's left now is a rookie in Jonas Sanker, who we'll come back to, Jordan Howden, JT Gray. For all intents and purposes, that's what you have left at safety. JT Gray has mainly been a special teams just ace for the New Orleans Saints. He's very good at his role there, and he's adored as well, I think, by Saints fans a bunch. He just has not seen a lot of snaps actually on defense for the New Orleans Saints. Jordan Howden, at times throughout his career, has been a very productive player for the New Orleans Saints. I mean, he really kind of burst onto the scene. It's okay, wait, is he kind of next? But you've seen that not necessarily totally play out. When I look at guys who are available, the first one that's going to jump off the page is Justin Simmons. Justin Simmons is a veteran in the NFL, but he's a guy that the New Orleans Saints already went after last offseason. His name was thrown about plenty a season ago when the Saints were looking for safety help. 9 years in the league, ultimately, he ends up with the Atlanta Falcons. It didn't necessarily go as expected there from a production standpoint wise, and he remains unsigned. But that's a guy that the Saints have already gone after once. They're definitely familiar with the player from their flirtations with him a season ago, but also playing against him twice, when he was with the Falcons. He is older. He's fixing to be 32 years old. So you wonder how much he has left in the tank. But again, this isn't a long-term fix for the New Orleans Saints. It would be a Band-Aid, and it's not even to say that he'd come in and immediately be a starter for the Saints. Jordan Whitehead is another one. Oh, I should say one more thing about Simmons. He has familiarity with Brandon Staley. They overlapped for a year when Staley was in Denver. Now, the caveat there is Staley was the outside linebackers coach, so he didn't have much dealings with Justin Simmons, but was in the same building as the guy, sees how he goes about his business, when he's on the team. All of that, I think, does matter. The familiarity with the player matters there. Jordan Whitehead has spent a bulk of his 7 years in the NFC South with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And, man, was a very productive player for Tampa Bay in his time there. Had a little hiatus from the Bucs, went to the Jets. But that's a guy, Saints are obviously very familiar with him as a player because, again, as time with the Buccaneers. He's a little on the younger side, is Jordan Whitehead, 28 years old, inching towards 29, but still has a lot left there. That's one I would really look at. And, to be honest with you, a guy like Whitehead, his previous estimated value was $4.5 million. He still remains unsigned at this point before training camp. You could probably even get that down a little bit. So you're looking at a guy under 30 who you could probably get for cheaper than maybe market value would have for him. That's an interesting one. And then there's a trio of guys with Saints ties who are all veterans. Marcus Williams, Von Bell, Marcus May. I know none of those names are really going to excite everybody, but why I look at that and go, okay, is because of another player that's already on the team. If you go out and you get a Von Bell or a Marcus May, they're both in their 30s, early 30s, but they're both in their 30s. But they have familiarity with the Saints organization having played here. Obviously, that was a different era of Saints football than where they are right now. But they're still familiar with the organization and how it likes to operate. Same goes for Marcus Williams. And as I said, I know when I mentioned those names, specifically Williams and Marcus May, a lot of Saints fans are going to cringe, and I totally understand that. I think if you look at those guys and that's the route you go, you're not bringing them in to be a starter. That's where you turn your focus to a guy like Jonas Sanker. And this is a massive opportunity now for Jonas Sanker to wedge and earn a starting opportunity with the New Orleans Saints. And that now really kind of, outside of the quarterback competition, really moves up into the top 5 of storylines for training camp here in 2025. Jonas Sanker, 3rd-round pick, top 100 guy out of Virginia. Was a 2-time first-team All-ACC player there. He's got the size you like, you kind of from a safety standpoint. And somebody the Saints really liked and felt fortunate to get, quite honestly, when they did in the 3rd round. The reviews for him out of OTAs and minicamp, albeit it was 7-on-7 basically, were very good. We had Ross Jackson on, a few weeks ago when I was filling in for Matt, and Ross had a piece up about how Jonas Sanker could get himself into a starting position as a rookie, and that was already with Tyrann Mathieu and Justin Reed on the team. Now with the pads coming on in training camp, you're really, really going to get a major look at Jonas Sanker. And I think, honestly, the best case scenario for the New Orleans Saints, because think about what they're trying to do. Mickey Loomis, when he met with the media on Tuesday, talked about a reset. He didn't want to call it a rebuild, but they are open to a reset now that Derek's not, playing anymore. That's opened themselves up. Okay, Mickey, your quarterback's gone. You're starting over at that position. That's pretty much a rebuild. But there were the other signs too, making all 9 draft picks, really trying to get younger. Some of the cap-saving moves that they made, they're trending toward that direction. For me, now that Tyrann Mathieu has retired, the best case scenario, I think, for the New Orleans Saints is Jonas Sanker beats out Jordan Howden, JT Gray, earns that starting spot as a rookie, and you go sign somebody that has ties to the organization, or a veteran safety that you don't need to really come in, that you can just come in and really be that depth piece. And that brings a whole nother, crop of safeties into the discussion for the New Orleans Saints. Because the sooner you can get a guy like Jonas Sanker on the field, the sooner he can get out there and show what he's got, the sooner you get even further down the road, further on the track of rebuilding. You get immediately younger. And if that's a player that you felt fortunate to have available for you at pick 93 in the third round, getting him on the field as early as possible and letting him go through the growing pains to where maybe as a second-year player, he can take the jump and become one of the better safeties in the league. That's what you're hoping for, obviously. For me, that's the best-case scenario. That's what I'm rooting for. They're going to go sign somebody in free agency because you have to from a depth standpoint. You can't go into this with 3 safeties. But, man, give me the young guy. Let Jonas Sanker show what he's made of, win that job. Learn from a veteran in Justin Reed as well, playing side by side from him, and be positioned to hopefully take a huge jump his second year, and you just go further down the road of getting younger. That's how the Saints are going to get back to where they hope they can get to. Jonas Sanker's the key for me. So whether it's a guy like Justin Simmons, whether it's like the 3 former Saints that are still available, hopefully you don't have to ask them to come in too much, because Jonas Sanker has taken full advantage of this opportunity. He is right at the top of the list now of players to watch in Saints training camp after Tyrann Mathieu calls it a career after 12 years in the league.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.